What-ho, chaps, how the devil? I hope all is well in your neck of the woods. You just knew I had to cover this, didn't you? Loads of people have sent me it. Plenty of people posted it on my Facebook group. I got it shown to me on Twitter. It's something that's been going on for the last few days, and I wasn't going to touch it. But then I watched the podcast of the Locust Eaters and heard their somewhat tame take on events. So I thought I'd obviously delight fans of foul-mouthed anecdotes and tirades by giving my own inimitable version of events for your viewing pleasure. You all know what's coming, don't you? This video is brought to you by Shitcunt. I'm kidding. No such product exists. I was just setting the tone nice and low. So the story is, Coke goes woke. Interestingly, that's a word my accent doesn't like. When I was in America and any time I asked anyone for a Coke, didn't go well. I'd say, Coke, and they'd go, what? I'd say, Coke, give me a Coke, and they'd say, don't understand you. One woman, I said, Coke, give me a Coke. You know what Coke is? And she said, a cork? As in the thing that goes in the top of a wine bottle. I think I should just stick with Pepsi. Anyway, Coke, don't like that word. Coke goes woke. Coca-Cola blasted over Be Less White training, as company says plan was to build inclusive workplace. Well, I'll tell you what, how is it inclusive to make everybody fucking hate each other? Is that just me being a bit silly there? Purposely race baiting and making everybody hate each other. I don't think that's going to be inclusive. Unless they want you to include some steel, introduce some steel into a workmate's ribcage via the medium of shank. Because it promotes violence. It doesn't just promote a less inclusive workspace. It makes people hate each other, which, as I've told you many times, is the main aim of Marxist, communist, postmodernist movements. They want to build dissent. They want to make you hate each other. The antidote, as always, is individualism. Never rise to the bait and allow yourself to get bitter and angry at a group. I mean, seriously. Not to sound like some sort of hippie. Yeah, I don't want to come across as Jesus with a green beret. We all know I'm sceptical of Jesus. First of all, I don't believe in any of the creation myths. And second of all, if the best carpenter on planet Earth got nailed to a cross and then there was a big fuck-off earthquake and he got resurrected, someone in the local village would have kept a stool or a cupboard or at least something small like a fucking rocking horse or a toy train or something. Something he made would have survived. So I don't really believe any of that. I'm not trying to be Jesus. But we are all the same. Biology proves it. We all came from the same place, roughly. Zebras can't breed with horses, but a random 8-foot basketball player whose parents are from Somalia can go ahead and have 50 kids with a fucking Inuit, or a Japanese woman, or a ginger Irish midget. Anything. We're all from the same place. So to draw these characteristics, you might as well pull them out of your ass. You might as well miracle them out of your shit locker. Why not? Why not just, it's an arbitrary characteristic. Why not characterize people by height or hair colour? Why? Why does skin colour make these people positively engorged? Why? Because it just seems to lend itself to race baiting and hatred because of the colourful history of slavery in the United States. And again, it is only the United States. The idea that slavery was invented by fucking some pasty white bloke in 1776 or something is absolutely absurd. It's been practiced since humanity crawled out the fucking ocean. And that is what my point is going to be with regards to responding to these ridiculous slides. I mean, look at this. This slide here, shown to staff how to be less white at Coca-Cola, says to be less white is to be less oppressive. Now, this should be obvious to anyone who's listening. Do you think oppression as a concept was invented, during the Enlightenment? Like some fucking bloke in a powdered wig went, I think I'll be a bit of a cunt today. Is that what you think? These things, every single one of these traits is personified and takes place in almost every human on Earth at some point. And it has done ever since fucking hell, Cro-Magnon man, right? What's the dictionary definition of being oppressive? Inflicting harsh and authoritarian treatment. Okay, 5,000 years ago, yeah? Well, some twat was making Stonehenge. In fact, no, we can't pick that because that's in Europe. There was societies in Samaria, Egypt, right? There was people there. The moment one of those people was in a position of authority and said, "You there, build me a big fuck-off pyramid," that's being oppressive. They had slaves. That's who built the pyramids. So they were oppressive. What do you think? Do you think Michael Faraday invented the fucking concept? Same with arrogance. Be less arrogant. The moment anyone ever said to someone, fucking 10,000 years ago, "Fucking hell, you're doing a good job of climbing that tree, mate." "Yes, I've always been good at climbing trees." Arrogance. Arrogant bastard. Be less certain. Be less certain. Let's go back before humans. Fucking Neanderthals 250,000 years ago. Be less certain. What? How can that be a construct of any one group? Ugh. Ug's wife comes out the cave. Have you seen the T-Rex's jawbone anywhere, mate? Yeah, it's over there in the corner. Are you certain? Yeah. Nazi bastard. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's the most ordinary things ever. Be less defensive. The first time a man ever had an argument with his mother-in-law, he invented being less defensive, right? It's so fucking stupid. I cannot believe anyone has ever paid these lunatics to write these books and make these slideshows. Be more humble. That isn't related to any group other than mammals. In fact, no, I might be doing I'm sure there might be a fish out there with a higher reasoning ability to be humble. Unlikely, but you know what I'm saying. Humble is just a trait that some people have and some people don't. None of this is related to your fucking race. It might as well be related to your hair colour or your eye colour or the size of your feet. It's lunacy. And in a weird way, it's almost like she's a white supremacist, because if you're trying to say that to be less white is to say be less oppressive, be less arrogant, be less certain, the opposite of oppressive is what? Lenient or pleasant, humane. If the opposite of that is those things, then what you're saying is to be a different colour is to be too lenient. You might be saying, "Oh, you don't stand up for yourself. Be less arrogant." Well, arrogance is born of competence, certainty. Only the most experienced climbers fall, because the novices are always scared and take all of the correct precautions. So if the opposite is to be more black is to be far less arrogant, well, what you're basically saying there is that they're not very good at anything. They're not skillful, intelligent, and sure of themselves enough to be arrogant. The opposite of each of these statements, each of these negative statements has a positive side to them as well, because nothing's black and white, you know. The opposite of being certain is to be uncertain. Well, that can be a good thing. It can be a good thing being uncertain. If someone says, "Do you think we should push that disabled lesbian off that skyscraper?" and you go, "Not certain about that," that's probably quite a good thing, isn't it? I think it is. Be less defensive. Okay, so be a wimp. Get pushed around. Don't stand up for yourself. Be less ignorant. Well, if you're less ignorant, then you've got far too much knowledge, so maybe you're going to be back to being arrogant again. None of it makes any sense. Listen as well. Listen. Like, every husband on planet Earth doesn't fucking listen. It doesn't matter what your fucking ethnicity is, does it? Christ on a bike. Believe. Are we going to go down the road that we think only one race tells lies now? Bit weird, that, innit? I mean, surely politicians prove that fucking wrong, right? Politicians come in every shape, size, colour, creed, and every single one of them's a lying bastard. Are you going to tell me you think Bill Cosby's more honest than Mr. Rogers because he happens to have a bit of a tan? I don't think so. I don't think any of this is related to one particular ethnic group, and I think it is extremely harmful and prejudiced. I'm not going to bother reading out the whole story. I'll put it in the link, but I'm assuming by now everyone who watches this video has seen it and knows exactly what I'm talking about. I just wanted to give you my more humorous take on events. Please don't read any of this drivel and think it's a good idea to become a racial supremacist like Robin DiAngelo and the woke people. They are racial supremacists. The white ones are typically genuinely arrogant and convinced that all of these traits are white, which is why they sign up for it, right? They do think white people are intelligent enough to be arrogant. and strong-willed enough to be defensive. And the black ones, apparently, which I have to say, hey, I'll hold up my hands up and defend the black community here. Far, far less of them are black, in my experience. The full-blown crazy social justice warrior, communist, racial identitarians are uniformly, in my eyes, upper middle class, upper class, university educated, brainwashed. It's not educated. It's not educated anymore, is it? When you go in quite bright and you come out a blithering, brain-dead, boss-eyed communist with the IQ of a flip-flop, I don't think that counts as an education. Call me a bluff old traditionalist. But yeah, please don't take any of this to heart. Regardless of colour or creed, I want to build a coalition of the willing that is everyone of every nation and every race and every gender and every creed against batshit communist social justice fuckheads. Yeah, the coalition of the willing to tell lunatics that they make less sense than drunk Rain Man. Thanks for watching anyway. I'll see you guys very soon. Cheers.